Hi everyone, Graham Cunningham, Maddie Playle, John Blantz for the Whirlpool on day 4 at Royal Ascot. Spectacular day in store. The weather is superb. Maddie, one highlight you're looking forward to?
It's got to be the Coronation Stakes, Graham, for the fillies. So many different strands of form. Will Zaragana get a Group 1 win? Not in the stewards' room this time.
Yeah, looking forward. The Commonwealth Cup should be an absolute belt. A really big field, high quality horses at the top, but some lurkers down the bottom as well.
That race is loaded. Let's try and find a few winners. We kick off. Good quality fillies race. Straight 1,200 metres for the Albany Stakes. Let's have a look down the card. Valentina won well at the Curragh last time. She carries the colours and represents the same stable as Porta Fortuna, who won this race a couple of years ago. BB Dahl adds American speed and colour. Fitzella is highly progressive. Gold Digger impressed at Yarmouth. Green Sense ran a belter in defeat in a key race at Naas last time. Further down, number 14, it's a Frankel filly called Signora. Ryan Moore for Aidan O'Brien, and Signora wasn't too far behind Green Sense first time out in that Naas race. Down at the bottom, up-and-coming sire called Starman has Venetian Sun and a couple of others in this race. Let's get straight down to it. Let's deal with this American Raider. I am thrilled to see an old friend and sparring partner, Umberto Rispoli. Got to know him well in Hong Kong. He's shooting lights out in America at the moment, and he's over to Ascot to ride a filly called BB Dahl, John.
Yeah, it cost a few quid, and she ran at Gulfstream Park. Could have been a good race, but she ran very, very fast early on over the trip there. It was 10.14 seconds to the second furlong marker, which here at Ascot, in a completely different setup, is going to be very, very difficult for her. She needs to ration that speed. So you say Rispoli's riding really well at the moment, but he's going to need to be on this go. I think this trip could be a bit too far for her.
Maddie, you talk over this video of Fitzella, please. She came to Ascot first time out. What looked a pretty warm race. The winner of this Ascot race didn't exactly polish the performance in the Coventry Stakes on Tuesday. But the third horse, Old as Gold, is very promising. And Fitzella has gone on to win really nicely at Haydock. But this Ascot run was a good start for her.
It was a good start. Beforehand, lots of people fancied their chances in this. Some big price tags, some big reputations on the line. And she performed admirably. And then, of course, she's gone on and won since. So it's a nice profile that she's built, but she's not in my numbers, Graham. I think she'll need more.
I think we've all gone for different fillies here for different reasons. I'm going to make my case for Green Sense, who was an impressive winner first time out for Joseph O'Brien. Last time out, she went for a key race at Naas. She didn't win it. That Naas race has thrown up the winner of this race multiple times, I think including the last 3. She's an easygoing, strong traveller with plenty of physical scope. Joseph O'Brien's horses have been running really well, and she's my main choice. But John, you talked about the 1.35 million BB Dahl. Now talk to me about the €4,500 Ipanema Girl.
Yeah, she ran an absolute belter on her debut. It was a really strongly run race, big field at the Curragh. She did have a nice draw towards the grandstand rail to help her. But when the cavalry came, she found a bit more. And the assistant trainer, the Adrian Murrayard, said she was only 75% fit today. That raised an eyebrow too. I think she's got the ideal run style for this. She'll go very well indeed. She's my on-top selection.
Now, Paddy, I'm not saying you're a gold digger, but you like this filly called Gold Digger, and I get it based on that Yarmouth win.
I really do. I'm in gold today, and it's Gold Digger for me. She beat a couple of horses in here, Awaken and Nandita. Both Nandita and America have come out and won since from that Yarmouth win. It was the closing effort that really caught my eye. She looked like she was just getting the hang of things, showed a lot of raw ability. I think she's going to be a very, very tough to beat.
Closing splits, 10.57, 10.4, 11.18. She's been quitting that filly. Let's wrap up the Albany Stakes, John, with your top 4 in reverse order, shall we say?
We're going to go with 9 Ipanema Queen on top. Gold Digger, as Maddie's made the case for, the 6 in for second. Signora needs to improve, but she's from that race you were talking about there over in Ireland. And Fitzella, I think this is going to be a more difficult task for her, but she might be up for it. So 9, 6, 14 and 5.
Yeah, I thought the Yarmouth performance of Gold Digger was just full of promise. So it's number 6 on top for me, followed by 17, 2 and 14.
Keen on this Green Sense. I think she's one of my stronger 2-year-old fancies of the week. It's 7, 6, 2 and 5 for me in race 1, day 4, the Albany Stakes. Race 2, day 4, Royal Ascot is the Commonwealth Cup. Group 1, 1,200 metre race for 3-year-old sprinters. And this race is absolutely loaded. Let's have a look down the dance card. Number 5, Big Mojo, is a proven Ascot performer. Number 7, Ides of March, has a little bit to find, but I still think he's on the upgrade. John Quill brings classic form over a mile to Ascot at 1200. Shadow of Light. Can't have had too many champion 2-year-olds in this race. Here's Shadow of Light. Couple of Group 1s last year and an excellent third in the 2000 Guineas. Strong Warrior would have been a very strong fancy for a handicap here. It's significant that Richard Fahey, who's won this race, brings him for the Group 1 instead. Whistle Jacket is a Group 1 winner. Arabian Dusk ran a belter last time. Babouche is a high-quality Irish filly. Leovani won at Royal Ascot last year. You get the picture. This is an excellent race. And I haven't even mentioned the American Raider, She's So Spicy, down at the bottom. Let's get straight into the video clues here. And I'll take the floor with John Quill because I really like this horse. Very impressive first time out for Sir Michael Stout last year. He's changed yards. He's now with Andrew Balding. He rocked up at 1400 in the Greenham, won it impressively, and we pick him up in a French Guineas that was run at a blistering gallop. So hats off. My top hat is off to John Quill for attending that strong pace and battling on really well until Henri Matisse swooped at the death. I think he's going to be every bit as effective back at 1200 metres, and I'm making, I hope, a persuasive win and place case for him. But I've got a couple of shadows next to me. Shadow of Light, Matty Playle, was champion 2-year-old, and he looked every bit as good when quickening well for third in the 2000 Guineas.
Yeah, not many horses win a Middle Park and go on to win the Dewhurst Grey, and that's exactly what Shadow of Light did. And he lost so little in defeat, went up to a mile in the 2000 Guineas last time. That form's already been advertised this week with Field of Gold winning the St James's Palace. Ruling Court, the winner, was back in third. On ratings, this horse is 120. It's going to take a big performance from something else to get up to that level, I think. And I think he probably just is a sprinter as well. This is probably more his trip.
Anything to add to that, John?
No, it was a really good run in the 2000 Guineas as well, against the speed bias as well, a bit like Field of Gold. So, yeah, loads to like about Shadow of Light.
Big Mojo is a horse I'm going to throw to you, John, because he's got a very strong Ascot record. He's won here this season. He had a couple of Friday's rivals behind him. But it's not just Big Mojo I want you to talk about. I want you to also talk about Diablo Rojo. How's my pronunciation?
Very good. Excellent, Graham. Yeah, can't fault it. Yeah, it was an interesting race, this. Big Mojo pulled quite hard early doors. Came home strongly, though, so that was a good pointer to this. I did like Diablo Rojo here, though, because they went, by Ascot standards, down the straight track quite slow, and there was a real power-packed finish, and Diablo Rojo gobbled up the ground in the closing stages. He's got a good draw, and he's hopefully going to be sitting off that pace and really surging home. So I don't think he's good enough to win, but he might run a good race at a big price.
One more video for you to take on Matty Playle. It's last year's Queen Mary. This form has a few grey whiskers like myself now. I just don't know whether she's quite good enough. Ascot is a plus. Her run at Haydock a couple of weeks ago was inconclusive, a messy race. Is Leovani good enough to come back to Ascot and shine in this?
I don't think she is, Graham. This was a good performance. We know how key course and distance form can be here, but I just think she's going to be found wanting at this level.
Colin Keane is riding for Juddmonte. He's the main man for Juddmonte nowadays, but he's going back to his roots with Babouche because his longtime boss, Ger Lyons, sends Babouche to Royal Ascot here. She is a high-quality filly. She dispensed with a good horse, Whistle Jacket, in very neat fashion last time. But Ger Lyons hasn't found it easy to win at Royal Ascot, John, but this is his best chance for a while, I think.
No, she's got the ideal running style for this as well. She'd just be 2 or 3 lengths off the pace. She's got gate 18. She'd get nicely covered up near that grandstand rail. I've got her in for second. I don't think she's quite Shadow of Light, but she's not too far away.
A loaded Commonwealth Cup. John, what are your numbers, please?
Well, I'm going to go with Shadow of Light on top. Maddie's articulated the case extremely well. Babouche in there for second. Diablo Rojo, draw over the far side. Not a good draw, but still, I think in terms of race setup, should be going very well. And John Quill, after the French Guineas, I thought Jersey Stakes, definitely, but interesting that they've only gone for this. They've no equivocation. They want to run in the Commonwealth Cup. He's a big chance.
I think this testing straight 6 furlongs is just going to be absolutely up Shadow of Light Street. Graham, he's on top, number 9 for me, followed by 8, John Quill. I'll give the American Raider, She's So Spicy, number 20, a mention. She won the Group 3 Mamselle Stakes last time. Looked really good then, and I wouldn't be surprised if she can match some of these. 15, Carla Ridge, for a bit of a shock, the last one in.
This is a proper Group 1. Its Group 1 status was under threat for a bit. Not anymore, I don't think. This is a hell of a good race. I like John Quill. I think he's a value price. 8, John Quill. 9, Shadow of Light. 7, Ides of March. We haven't seen the best of him, especially on high summer ground. And 14, Babouche. I'm hoping the cream will rise right to the top in the Commonwealth Cup. Time to go handicapping at Royal Ascot on day 4. This is the Duke of Edinburgh Stakes. Older horse handicap, round course. round about 2,400 metres, full of interesting horses. Let's have a look at a few. 4 Caviar Heights changed hands for a lot of money to join William Haggis. Nakib has a wonderful Ascot pedigree from the family of Baid, Huckham, etc., etc. Hand of God was mighty impressive in, I think, the Golden Gates handicap for 3-year-olds 12 months ago. Mount Atlas is a horse who's got more to give, and he could be a value price. Stress Free is running extremely well at this level. French Duke is still low mileage. He comes back from a long break for Roger Varian. War Rooms, Matty Playle fancies him. I don't. We'll have that conversation in a moment. Al Mosher is fresh from a really good win at York. Altoon Loon was unlucky at Chester. And then we come to the riddle, the enigma that is Ethical Diamond, who was heavily backed in this race last year, but wasted some energy by pulling hard. Let's get down to some videos. It's Ethical Diamond time. William Mullins seems to have a block booking on Ryan Moore in these Royal Ascot handicaps. How should we say? It didn't go to plan on day one. Ethical Diamond, John Blance, was backed off the boards in this race last year. He ran pretty well for 4th.
Yeah.
But I thought he was just too free from an early stage, and if he settles better, he's going to improve. He's been in action, as you know, over jumps recently.
He has been, yeah. He was the nudge, wink, wink horse here, wasn't he, 12 months ago? He's a bit too close to the pace last year. This really does favour mid-division or hold-up types, this race. Wide draw as well certainly helps. So Ryan Moore tried to get him into a position a little bit off the speed, but as you say, he ended up pulling himself probably too prominent. So that's why he was a little bit short on petrol in the closing stages. I've got him in the numbers here. He's got gate 7, which is not ideal. Still think he'd run okay.
He was 7-4 last year, Maddie. Let's move on to a horse who did do the business here 12 months ago. Hand of God came into the Golden Gates handicap as a very unexposed horse, strongly fancied, and he delivered in style.
Really did. There was that late swoop, wasn't there, down the outside, and he was just powerful and relentless in the finish. If he can replicate that sort of form in this race, he should be on the premises. Not so good last time, of course, and his rating is going up quite high.
And his distance is going up. He was back down to 13-8 on Guinea's Day at Newmarket for a good handicap. Shorter distance, didn't fire, but to his credit, trainer Harry Charlton brought King's Gambit back from a poor performance to run a really good race on day one. French Duke is a horse we can talk about quickly. He got a messy run in the King George V handicap last year, delivered in pretty good style at Goodwood, and ran well here on softish ground in the autumn behind the Reverend. He's been put on layaway since, John, but he's still fairly low mileage, this horse, when we look at his Ascot run.
And he has gone well fresh in the past as well. And again, that was a strongly run race. He will get that. Gate 15 as well. There's a little, he hasn't actually gone into my numbers, but there is a kind of high drawn hold up horse, sort of Q, TSA kind of option here. And I think he would go in there as well if he's fit first time out.
Okay, this could be yet another clip for my embarrassment file. Clip it up if I'm wrong, but Matty Playle, the floor is yours. For War Rooms, who represents last year's winning connections.
He does, and that's one of the key signifiers of his chance, I suppose, because they've clearly targeted this race again. They've only had him for 2 starts. He was formerly with Owen Burrows, where he finished 3rd in the Dante. He was also 3rd in the Flying Scotsman behind Dancing Gemini as a 2-year-old. So he's capable of a really high level of form, and those 2 efforts were over an insufficient trip. He's been running over 1.6 miles the last twice, finished 2nd, showing really good closing efforts. I just think off a handicap mark of 99, he could be really well in. He's got a lovely draw as well in 12 by Churchill, who stay very well. I think he's unexposed, Graham.
I've just noticed that Colin Keane is riding for his old man Jerry again for the Wear of Pink Ribbon Syndicate.
Yes.
You got me worried now. John, wrap up a red-hot Duke of Edinburgh handicap, please.
Well, we're all stress-free here at the Whirlpool, Graham, and I'm going to put stress-free. Gate 18, nicely held up off a strong pace here, will come through. Is in tremendously consistent form at the moment. Handicap has been quite kind, I think, too. Mount Atlas, you referenced, got good form here as well. Gate 17, hold-up horse. Ethical Diamond in for 3rd, I think, can still be part of the action here. And I'm going to give Hand of God one more chance. He was hopeless at Newbury, but I'm hoping he's not going to be hopeless here and revives memories of 12 months ago.
It was Crystal Black last year, Graham, for the Keens. I'm hoping this time around it's going to be War Rooms number 13, followed by 18, 14 and 12.
It was crystal clear last year for Crystal Black. It's a tough one this time around. I'm going to take my chance. Here we go again. Ethical Diamond. I still think he has more to give on the flat. He's low mileage. If he settles, he's a major player. My bigger priced horse is number 8, Mount Atlas, a gorgeous looking horse. He was in very deep against Illinois and Al Kareem at Chester last time, but he ran very well. 12, French Duke after the break, still has improvement in him. And 6, Nakib is a big price lurker here. 18, 8, 12, and 6 for me in the Duke of Edinburgh. And with all due respect to Matty Plale, please don't let this War Rooms win. Race 4, day 4, Royal Ascot, the Coronation Stakes, a tremendous test on the Round Mile, 1,600 metres for some of the best 3-year-old fillies around. Let's have a look at the main players. Number 2, Sasseni, ran really well in the Irish Guineas. She's a long shot to keep an eye on. Chantilly Lace was a very good 5th at Newmarket, but she is still lacking in experience. Exactly represents Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. She's not a superstar, but she's very solid and consistent. Thalakea could be any kind of good. A superb pedigree and 2 very impressive wins, and she adds the fire on the front end here. Flight didn't shine at the Curragh, but ran a belter in the English 1,000 guineas. Kontiki is unbeaten with plenty of scope for more improvement. Simmering reached a place at Newmarket, and here we go. The big French hope of the week amid a strong team is Zaragana, who might just be perfectly suited by this race. Let's start with Zaragana, Maddie Plale. She was always highly regarded. She comes from a tremendous family. Her granddam is the mighty Zakava. She was an excellent 2-year-old. And in the French 1,000 guineas, it was, how shall we say, filled with drama, both in the race and afterwards. Take us through this.
Yeah, and even before that, Graham, she was a strong fancy for the Prix Marcel Boussac on Arc Day, and she was beaten by a stablemate. So they were expecting her to win that. They're expecting great things this season. And yeah, she was carried off her line in the French 1,000 guineas by She's Perfect. Of course, was awarded the race in the stewards' room. They contested it, but the result remained the same. Mikel Barcelona lost his whip as well that day. Look, undoubtedly, she's a very high-class filly. She's got a great turn of foot, but we need to see her now put it all together and do things properly, I think.
John, sometimes you look at French Raiders to Royal Ascot and you think, hello, faster ground. I look at this filly and think, hello, faster ground, yes please. Quick action hold-up filly with a turn of foot.
You know I like a sectional time, Graham. This horse has recorded 7 sub-11 sectionals in her career so far. Now, a lot of those races in France are sit sprints, so that kind of lends itself to that anyway. Obviously, Falakea is going to run here, supplemented for the race. Tactically, this is a fascinating contest. Falakea is going to go like the clappers out in front, really try and draw the sting out of Zaracana. She might, but I don't think she will.
When we look back at that French 1,000 guineas video, we should mention exactly who had every chance until she was squeezed close home. She doesn't have a lot to find with Zaragana. She may not have that filly star quality. Maddie, Falakea is 2 from 2. She seemed to take charge very early on over 2,000 in the Pretty Polly Stakes. My goodness, she kept going at a tremendous rate, didn't she?
Yes, they kept us journalists guessing, saying they might go for the Oaks, they might go for the Prix Diane. She had a little hold-up, so she couldn't make the latter engagement. But I think down to a mile is exactly what she wants. She's all about enthusiasm, pace, and letting her roll over this trip, I think, is going to be a good idea.
Stall 2 looks ideal if she's going to go free rolling.
Yeah, there's going to be no tactical niceties here. She's going to go straight forward. It's a fascinating engagement for her. The fact they've come down in trip and supplemented her for the race. I think it's going to be a terrific contest. I think she will give Zaragana lots and lots to do, but I think the French filly might just reel her in.
We talked about this in James Palace Stakes on day 1. There's the battle of 3 guineas winners. When he got 1 here, and she got it in the stewards' room, Zaragana, we don't have Desert Flower, and we don't have Lake Victoria, who would have been money on here. So the stage is set, I think, for a duel between the best of Britain, perhaps, in Falakea, and the best of the French in Zaragana. Sum up this race, John, and give me your numbers, please.
I'm going to go with Zaragana to just catch Falakea, but if Falakea can dictate some slightly slower sectionals out in front, if she's not taken on, she'll be difficult to reel in, but I'm going to go with the French filly over Falakea in for second. I've got in for third exactly. He's obviously got that Zaragana form. And Chantilly ran a good race in the Guineas here in the UK. I think she can round a bend. She can probably go well here too.
I'm going for a bit of a shock, Graham. We've not mentioned Jane Chapel-Hyams' filly Kontiki, York winner, travelled all over a very, very strong field that day. I think there's some really high-quality fillies in behind her and just extended away nicely in the closing stages. If this is tough tactically, I wouldn't be surprised if she just came swooping late down the outside. I don't think we've seen the best of her yet. So it's 9 Kontiki for me on top. She also formerly beat a very good filly called Life is Beautiful, who I think we're going to see that form represented this week, followed by 6 Falakea, 11 Zaragona, and 3 Chantilly Lace.
Yeah, compelling tactically, because Falakea is a very, very strong travelling horse. She'll roll forward from the inside gate, and it's the job of the French filly Zaragana not to get too far back and produce that turn of foot without a drop whip and without any steward's interference this time. It's 11, 6, 5, and 7. Allez France in the Coronation Stakes. Okay, let's get to it for race 5 on day 4 at Royal Ascot. This is a filly's handicap over the straight mile, 1,600 metres. It is the Sandringham Stakes and loads of interesting horses. Tabati, big weight, classy last year. Betty Clover, super consistent and ran very well at the July meeting here last summer. Silver Ghost has thrived for Emma Lavelle in handicaps, and she has got a good turn of foot. Supermodel, well-bred and fresh from a decisive win at Nottingham. Miss Nightfall ties in very closely with Silver Ghost. If you like one, probably like the other. Oolong Poobong, no idea what it means. I do like her progressive profile. Dash of Azor was a very straightforward winner at Kempton last time. And in the royal colours, Purple Rainbow for the Haggis stable and their Majesties. Now I think we'll start with Betty Clover, because she was tough and consistent last year. It looks like she's trained on well based on a couple of good runs in listed company. We'll go back to the Princess Margaret Stakes, John. She ran a belter.
Yeah, she's very tough and consistent, but very rarely runs a bad race. She was a little outpaced here, but stayed on very well. Well, that's ideal now that she's tackling trips over a good bit further than the Princess Margaret Stakes. She ran very well in France last time in a race coincidentally called the Prix du Sandringham. And I think, from a good draw as well, she's got gate 23, I think, which is absolutely perfect. This race really favours hold-up horses like no other race in the whole week. And she's going to have the perfect pace set up here, so she'll go well.
How about this for a story? A young lad called Warren Fentiman. I think he's only just turned 17. It's not too long ago he was riding in pony races. Here comes 17-year-old Warren Fentiman riding for the King and Queen at Royal Ascot on the well-bred Purple Rainbow, who comes here with a chance, no question about it. Tom Marquand, I think, rides stablemate Supermodel. Maybe couldn't quite do the weight, Tom, for Purple Rainbow, but she ran very well in a strongly contested minor event here on the Round Mile. I think she's a galloper rather than a quick nut, but with that £5 weight allowance, I have to think that Purple Rainbow could be a real headline maker for young Warren Fentiman. What a groove for him. Supermodel. That's the horse, not you, although you look fantastic, Maddie. She comes from the same stable as Purple Rainbow, and after a good win and a blob last season, she bounced back in handicap company with an emphatic Nottingham success.
The jockey booking is fascinating, isn't it? Could he really not do the weight, perhaps?
Well, it's only a pound or two.
I'm not sure that will necessarily be the case. Look, you only have to look at this filly to know why she's named what she is. She is stunning, and she's performed admirably on the track so far. As you mentioned, Graham, an easy winner at Nottingham last time, where she beat the filly Treasure, who is highly regarded, rated 98. Supermodel just has a rating of 90 here. So I think there's going to be absolutely loads of scope for improvement. I'm not sure about the draw in 3, but I am sure that she's ahead of her mark. And I think the likes of Betty Clover, Tabiti are going to be vulnerable to improvers lower down the weights here.
Okay, we've heard the Supermodel story. We've heard the Purple Rainbow story. John, I think you like one or two different horses here. Sum this big handicap up with your top 4, please.
Well, yeah, they usually go really, really strong gallop. It's set up for the closers. Silver Ghost is definitely one of those. Got a good draw, ran really well at Newmarket in a race that's worked out extremely well. So she goes on top for me. Sweet Chariot for the Coolmore team. The race last time in Ireland wasn't run to suit whatsoever. This definitely will be. Betty Clover for the reasons I outlined. And Alfarica a little bit further down there as well. Stayed on really strongly down the straight track at Doncaster last time, and she'll need that in abundance here, but she'll go well. So 6, 7, 2 and 25, Graham.
It's untapped potential with Supermodel, Graham. I'm sure she's ahead of her mark. She's represented by a team who know exactly what they're doing. Number 10 on top for me, followed by 13 Zagata, an interesting improver with a nice pedigree, followed by 18 and 5.
Draw we haven't mentioned. Quick line on it. Last 4 winners drawn 18, 25, 21 and 16. So I draw is no hardship here. I'm taking a chance with a filly with a strange name, Oolong Poobong. Trainer Ed Bethel won the Britannia, the boys' equivalent of this race 12 months ago with Mickley. And Oolong Poobong put away some decent rivals at Haydock in very tidy fashion. I think she's a price. I think she might be value. 15, 6, 11 and 14. Silver Ghost, John has outlined the case. Miss Nightfall had no luck in running at Goodwood behind Silver Ghost. And 14, Purple Rainbow, could be one of the stories of the week if young Warren Fentiman wins in the Royal colours. So Sandringham, all the best. Race 6, day 4, Royal Ascot, is the King Edward VII Stakes. It's a mile and a half, 2,400 metres, and it's attracted an interesting field. Amlock is top of the shop. He's 4 from 4, despite looking a bit of a playboy at times in his races. Convergent ran a very good placing in a chest of ours that, how shall we say, has worked out a treat. 1 and 2 in the Derby were the only horses ahead of him. Green Storm represents the Derby form, backing up quickly. Nightwalker also does. He needs to buck up after a dull performance at Epsom. Opportunity knocks for opportunity. He had handicap options here. Could be significant that Haggis runs him deep. He finished behind Amelot when badly hampered last time. Puppet Master is a solid Ballydoyle horse. Great game, brave in the Lingfield Derby trial. Wimbledon Hawkeye has the highest rating after several good efforts in high-quality company. Stamina is a bit of a question. And Zaran, a bit like Amelot at the top. He's learning the job, but he's learning pretty fast. Let's start with Amelot. Rafe Beckett summed things up nicely when this horse was being scrubbed along in rear at Goodwood last time in the Cocked Hat Stakes. He said he was thinking, come on, pal. And finally, he did.
He certainly did. And when you dig into what he did in the closing stages, it was quite something. To come from that far back at Goodwood is never easy. And he trounced them in the end. He's going to be held up here. There's going to be a good gallop on, one would have thought. So, yeah, things are going to be set up perfectly for him. And who knows the limits of his potential.
He absolutely bolted up from some pretty useful horses. By Postponed, the King George winner. He may be a little off the bridle, on the bridle in the early stages, but his potential, if there's a really good horse in this race, it's probably him, Maddie.
Yeah, I'm not worried about how he races. People said that about French Master, who won with the blinkers on day 1. Amelot unbeaten, so he can't be that complicated. He's certainly doing a lot right. His Dam Kalima apparently wasn't the most straightforward, but interesting, Rafe Beckett had the option to go for the Queen's Vase with this horse and has opted for the race over just a furlong further than the Cocked Hat last time. That was a dominant effort over his stablemate Sir Dinnerdown. I can't see him beaten here, if I'm honest.
Right, confident view from Maddie. I'm going to make a case for Johnny Murtagh's horse, Zaran. He's rated 105, 4 or 5 pounds off the top here, but he's getting good in a hurry at the moment. He carries the Aga Khan colours. Kalandagan bolted up in this race in those colours last year, the late Aga Khan. And despite still looking immature, he powered clear at Leopardstown last time. He's a guaranteed stayer from a strong French family. I'm going to go with him on top. But John, wrap up this King Edward VII Stakes. I sense that I'm swimming against an Amelot tide here.
Well, sort of. I mean, obviously, Amelot, for me, seems the way to go in this race. Puppet Master, we have to mention as well, winner of the Lingfield Derby trial, swerved the Derby to come here for the Aidan O'Brien. Zaran definitely did evoke memories of Calandagan at Leopardstown, that last run. He basically went from last to first. It was a terrific surge, so he's got to go in there. And Convergent, advertising the Chest of Vase form, the Lambourne Lazy Griff form, and Convergent ran really well on the speed in it as well. So 1, 8, 11 and 2 for me.
Yeah, he's got an Eclipse entry, Graham, Amelot, which is a 10 furlong race. I'm not sure if he'll be taking that up, but that shows what regard Rafe Beckett holds him in. So do the remarks that he made mid-race last time. I think this horse is a real talent. Number 1, Amelot on top for me, followed by 8, Puppet Master. 7, Opportunity, 4th to Amelot last time. I think he can do better now. And the 11, Zaran last in.
We could be underestimating Wimbledon Hawkeye. She's running some very good races, but I don't know whether I was on camera. I just put a line through his name and replaced him with Convergent at the bottom of my list. You know what happens next. Zaran on top from the quirky but potentially high-class Amelot. 7, Opportunity, badly hampered behind Amelot at Goodwood. And then 2, Convergent. 11, 1, 7, 2 in the King Edward. The 7 Stakes. Big Scottish winner on day 1 at Royal Ascot with American Affair. Scotland, the Palace of Holyroodhouse commemorated here in the nightcap on day 4 at Royal Ascot. Blink and you'll miss it. 5 furlongs, 1,000 metres, loads and loads of aggressive 3-year-old sprinters here. None more aggressive than number 1, Hammer the Hammer, who has been dynamite from the front on his last 2 runs. Miss Lamai and More Lamb, old rivals in similar colours. More about those two in a minute. Stormy Impact has really clicked And young Warren Fentiman gets on really well with her. Red Orange was decisive at Chester, and this has been his target ever since. Hello, here's Realign. He could be the one who is well ahead of his handicap mark. Ruby's Prophet is very fast, but the last 100 metres here might see her running on fumes. Adrestia ran well behind older horses last time, and Lexington Blitz ties in very closely with the aforementioned Stormy Impact. Let's start with Realign because it's Wathdan Racing, only 3 runs, dominant at a very short price at Salisbury last time. Now back to 1,000 metres, Maddie Plale. It's speculation, but a mark in the 90s could be pretty lenient for this lad, couldn't it?
It really could, and William Haggis knows what it takes when it comes to bringing these unexposed horses to Royal Ascot. He's got a lovely pedigree, Realign. We didn't learn that much about him last time at Salisbury, other than he is clearly a smart horse. 93, I think it could be on the lenient side, Graham. What about you?
He was second to Shadow of Light on his debut mark here. Yes. Is he that kind of handicap block that's going to make him favourite here, John?
Well, he's going to have got a favourite, I would have thought. Gate 9's a little bit tricky. You need a double-figure draw in this race. The 5-year history of it says that. But he does have nice natural speed over slightly further. I think that will put him in the ideal position here. He'll be behind the really speedy types, the Hammer, the Hammers and the Ruby's Prophets, but then will be poised to strike late door. So got him in the numbers, not on top.
Okay, let's talk about one or two others. Stormy Impact really clicked in a very fast run race at Epsom on Derby Day. The Junior Dash, Lexington Blitz ran very well. Ruby's Prophet. Of that trio, Maddie, I like Lexington Blitz. I thought he ran a really good race from a slightly unfavourable draw in the middle. But Stormy Impact, the faster they go, the better she runs.
Yeah, she's so firmly on the up. And as you say, the jockey booking is key. Warren Fentiman taking a valuable 5 off. Ruby's Prophet, I will give a positive mention. I think this is a horse who's been running really consistently and applying herself well. I wouldn't be surprised if she placed at least.
Clive Cox, canny operator. Straight after Red Orange went past the post at Chester, he nominated this race. So even from an ascending handicap mark, I think he's one for the shortlist, John.
Possibly. I mean, there's a long shortlist you could make for this race. Gate 4 is going to be a little bit tricky. When I'm compiling the shortlist for this, it's usually towards that grandstand rail. I've got 1 or 2 slightly towards the middle this time,
I suspect you're leaning on the draw here for your top 4, John.
Well, I'm going to go with Miss Lamai on top. That Queen Mary run was pretty good. Not as good as the horse that she was behind, More Lamb, both in the same ownership. But she's trained on a bit better, I think. Couple of good runs at a higher level in this. Gate 26, ideal run style. I think she'll go very well. I like the 12 in there for second Realign that we've talked about. Ruby's Prophet, good draw. She's going to find it tough to hang on, but she blazes away. She ran really well at Epsom last time. She's not on the win line for me, but I think she could go particularly well and get placed. And I've got dear old Lexington Blitz, the 3-year-old dash winner, in there for 4th.
I'm a bit concerned about the draw for the likely favourite Realign in 9, but I think if there's a group horse in this race, he's probably it, maybe even Group 1. One I want to give a positive mention to, so that's 12 Realign on top for me. Second in, I've got number 2, Mr. Lightside. Showed some really blistering form in group races as a juvenile last year. Reminds me a bit of Kevin Ryan's sprinter Hey Jonesy, who won here quite a few years ago. Just got that raw speed, and I think he's got more to give at this sort of level in handicaps. So 2, second, and then 9 and 13.
Lance has got me worried about these draw stats here, but I'm sticking with my original choices. 12 Realign because he's got abundant potential. 27 Lexington Blitz because he's speedy and on top of his game. 9 Red Orange, who's been primed for this, and 8 Stormy Impact. 12, 27, 9 and 8 in the Palace of Holyroodhouse handicap.